uplift our teachers and staff, remind them that their hard work is seen, valued, and deeply appreciated. And in all things, may we give you the glory and honor. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2, agenda. A, adoption of the agenda. Need a motion? Moved by Ms. Dugas, second by Ms. Orso. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 3, consent agenda. A, approve minutes of August 6, 2025 school board meeting. B, adoption of consent agenda.
Madam President, if all is to order, I move that we accept the consent agenda as it is presented.
First by Mr. Lewis and second by Mr. Washington. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on. 4, reports and recognition. A, receive administrative personnel report. We all have that in our folders. You can view it as needed. B, receive update on district strategic plan.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Cather is going to present tonight an update on our strategic plan. We are ending a year and we beginning another year, but more importantly, you're going to see a huge shift in our next strategic plan because we have a new accountability system. And it's very detailed, and we will have presentations to the board on that. But tonight is about our previous 2024-2025 strategic plan. We're going to close that out, and then we're going to start working, well, we're already working on our 2025-2026 and beyond plan. So tonight is 2024-2025. Ms. Cathy.
Good evening. At this time, as Dr. B said, I would like to share with you an update on the work that our team did for the 24-25 school year on our district strategic plan. As we all know, Assumption Parish School System will inspire lifelong learners, prepare students for their chosen future, and cultivate an environment conducive to learning is our mission that we focus on here in our district. We had 6 strategic priorities that were a focus for the 24-25 school year, and our team here of directors and supervisors were the individuals who were responsible for leading the work of these initiatives under each of these priorities. Attune supported us throughout this work through the course of the year. As far as carrying out the deliverables as well as using their software platform. And as Dr. B mentioned, we began to shift our focus to the new accountability system and are continuing to focus on that work as we move forward. At this time, I would like to share just a few focuses within the initiatives for each priority, as well as what were some of our celebrations and what are some maybe next steps that need to be taken based on our work. Priority 1 had 3 initiatives, and the initiatives under this priority involved principal facilitation of instructional leadership teams, curriculum-based training for our leaders and teachers, which focused on lesson preparation and internalization, and implementing systems where data was analyzed to focus on data-driven instruction and student work analysis. Through the work of our instructional leadership teams, the teams focused on planning an agenda with the 5 steps of effective learning. So that was a process that we continued to work on, and we were able to celebrate at the end of the year because we had evidence that all teams on the campuses were planning out their agendas aligned to the rubric which measures instructional leadership teams. Leaders and teachers analyze district data as well as their school data in their teacher collaboration meetings, and instruction was provided by the teachers based on what the needs of that data showed. In addition, lesson preparation and internalization professional learning took place in the instructional leadership team meetings that were held on the campuses. This year, as we are updating the work for the new school year, our focus will continue to be on the work of instructional leadership teams, but we're also shifting to the teacher collaboration meetings, or the PLCs, and ensuring that we have that truly defined 5-step process of agendas being created as the work is being done in teacher collaboration meetings. Also, we will focus, or continue to focus, should I say, on the data analysis, but being more intentional as we're analyzing the data and working with the leaders and teachers to devise plans to address the next steps that will help to meet our students' needs. Priority 2 focused on strengthening intervention practices aligned to the Tier 1 curriculum implementation. Our district leadership team conducted walks on the campuses throughout the districts to gather data during their intervention periods, and we looked for trends and areas of growth from this data that we had collected and identified next steps that needed to be taken. Coaching was provided on the intervention practices aligned to our high-quality instructional materials by members of those curriculum vendors. Thanks to you for helping us to get those in to support our teachers and leaders as we went through this work. And something here to celebrate is that, as you already know, we were one of those top improving systems in the state for overall 3rd to 8th grade mastery and above. As I said, our work is to be more intentional in the teacher collaboration meetings and focus on that data to adjust the instruction, and then also help our teachers to identify early on what the struggles our students are that they are having, as well as maybe what are previous grade level struggles that they had, and help to address those needs. Priority 3 was led by Ms. Jessica Thibodeau, our secondary supervisor, and this one focused on identifying the gaps in the data in ACT and work keys and planning for additional teacher support and training. Through this work, the projected ACT went up due to increases in the ACT composite and work keys, and we saw evidence of stakeholders taking ownership in making those necessary improvements to better meet those students' needs. More resources were also available to help support the work of the teachers and students. We will continue to do work in this area to provide those additional resources and provide more professional development, and also to focus more as we move forward on goal setting with the students to help get ownership, buy-in in the work that they are doing. Priority 4 was led by Mr. Donnie Love, and this priority focused on combating bullying and promoting student safety, implementation of our SEL curriculum, which was the Caring School Communities curriculum, and revising the approach taken to responding to any severe behavior or patterns of behavior that were observed. Bullying cases decreased as a result of this work. The Leader in Me SEL program was the K-6 students that participated in this, and implementation plans for the 25-26 school year have been developed and put in place. And discipline data and attendance data, as well as plans, were developed to help students to be successful. The work here is to have more employees be engaged in the use of the Rave Panic Button app, monitor the SEL curriculum implementation to check progress being made towards full implementation, and attend more SBLC meetings where data is reviewed. And I want to I guess just clarify, it is the Leader in Me program. It isn't the Caring School Communities program. For Priority 4, this initiative was led by Ms. Nellie Brown, and this one focused on strengthening student access to mental health counselors. ABA support was provided through Touchstone, and progress was seen in our self-contained rooms at Napoleonville Primary School, as well as Labadie Primary School, which are now our elementary school names being shifted. There was raised awareness and access to mental health services for the families in our communities through this initiative, and professional learning was provided to the mental health team, along with monthly PAC meetings were held with the social workers as well. Some next steps here are to continue to expand strategic partnerships with mental health providers, such as partnering with Positive Transformations and Ascent, and then developing a district-wide communication and monitoring framework. Ms. Brandy Grow led our priority number 5, and this priority focused on teacher and leader recruitment practices and developing a plan for increasing teacher retention of effective educators. For Grow Assumption, 27 of the 36 staff in Grow Assumption returned to our district. Currently, there are 15 certified individuals that have a PL or a level 1, and 2 applicants or applications have been submitted. Many of our degreed non-certified are in iTeach and working on content area tests. The 25-26 cohort has 33 individuals, which are 6 new teachers within it. Our mentor teachers and our teacher leaders were able to be compensated for their work helping these new teachers through the differentiated compensation funds that we receive for the work within this initiative for the 24-25 year. Next steps, we already have 10 teachers enrolled in our in APEL's mentor program for this year, and the district and school-based master teachers are working on campuses with the new teachers and supporting their work. And our last priority was led by Ms. Rachel Duga, and this one focused on meaningful partnerships within our local community organizations. Partnerships were formed where stakeholders came together to support our school district. We had a minister's breakfast, we had the back-to-school kickoff, there was the early childhood day, STEM day, as well as the Special Olympics. And the work, or the upcoming work, is to continue to work to strengthen these partnerships through events such as this, as well as to work with our families of our students to begin partnerships with them so that their support can be involved in our schools as well. And as Dr. B said, we are moving forward at this time, currently updating for the 25-26 school year. Our team is working on the deliverables within each of the initiatives, continuing to truly focus that alignment piece on the new accountability system and making sure that our focus stays there. In a few months, we will be administering a survey to our families as well as our staff within the district to collect data. The data will be collected and analyzed, and this data will help us to visit our plan for the refresh to look at what are maybe some adjustments that need to be made as we move forward with the 26-27 plan, which is a 3-year refresh that we'll be working on. So that'll be our next steps, and also Attuned will be continuing to work with our team this year throughout the course of the year with implementation, as well as helping us towards the end of the year to ensure we're ready for that refresh. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. C, receive summary of testing processes for ELPT.
Thank you, Madam President. This particular presentation is about our EL students. More importantly, the State Department has shifted to the ELP assessment to our accountability system. So now, within our accountability system, our district performance score as well as our school performance score, our EL population is representing 8.3% of the overall score. So now we have shifted our focus in helping these students become better English-speaking students because obviously they need to speak English, but also now that they are a part of our accountability system. So tonight, Mr. Love is going to present some data, but we do have a very important, I guess Mr. Love will introduce her, but we have a very important person here with us tonight, Ms. Adele. She has been doing this work for the district for a long time, and now she's starting to see a little more support and a little more eyes on it now, and I think she's very excited about that we're focusing more on our EL population. So, Mr. Love?
Yes, sir. So before I get started, just wanted to thank Ms. Adele so much for her part in this work. She has been doing this work, the lion's share of this work for the district for so many years, countless years, and she's been passionate about it even when others may or may not have been. She's also been very instrumental, influential in the plan that we have developed that will take us forward in the future. So she has built the foundation for the EL program that our students will flourish on going forward. So thank you so much, Ms. Adele. First of all, before we get into the PowerPoint, I did share this document with you as well, so it should be in your notes. This is the actual district plan. It's quite lengthy, but you all have a copy in the docs, and you're welcome to take your time and look through it when you have time. There are several hyperlinks to several other documents that we used to create this document. Once again, this was something Ms. Adele, myself, Ms. Kathy, and the rest of the teaching and learning team created. So for the ELPT, if you are unfamiliar with this test, it's the English Language Proficiency Test. And basically, it's a computer-based assignment. It's measuring the English proficiency across 4 different domains, which should be reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And this is for our K through 12 English learners in Louisiana. This test is offered every February, okay? And this will be offered until the student achieves exit or proficiency and then is able to exit from the EL status. And I will explain how that process goes here as I go through the presentation. The way the test is designed, the student has interactive items basically in each one of those 4 domains to which the student is tested and then scored based upon how they do, and then determined from what they do, then it determines how we score, and then the student's progression from section to section, which you'll also see. And then the alternate version of the test would be the ELPT Connect, and that's for our English learners who have disabilities. So they would be SPED plus English learners. So this is just a chart to show you how they're tested. The description for each level, there are 4 domains, as I said earlier. Listening, speaking, reading, writing are the 4 domains. And then there are 5 achievement levels. Beginning, early intermediate, intermediate, early advanced, and advanced. Depending upon the combination of these achievement levels for each domain will determine then whether the student's overall proficiency level is emerging, progressing 1, progressing 2, progressing 3, or transitioning. So the overall goal for the student to exit the EL process would be that the student gets to the transitioning phase, which would be that the student earns a 4 or 5 in every one of those 4 domains, okay? And then you could see for each other level, it tells you the scores that they could possibly earn to hit those levels and those targets. Now, usually when kids enter the program, they will start at the emerging level. Rarely do we have a student that starts at the progressing level. But from what we've seen from the data and the great work that Ms. Adele and also the classroom teachers have done with the students that we have currently, they all are either progressing, the ones who've been with us have progressed and they have hit their growth targets every year. So it's pretty amazing to see the work that they've been doing. This is an example of a question that would be on that actual test. They give the student a prompt. This one is a writing prompt, and then the student would respond based upon the prompt without any assistance. So they do this on their own. All right, so how are they identified? How are EL students identified when they enter into our district? Each student is given a home language survey, which is sent home with the student at the beginning of the year when they register, that will allow us to know based upon their response whether English is their native language or some other language is their native language. The majority of our EL students are Spanish-speaking students, but we do also have some students who are Arabic as well, or Arabic as well. The ELPS screener is then given if the student states that, or the family states that English is not their primary language. And then if the student does not score proficient on the screener, at that point, they are entered into the EL process, okay? And then once again, for our kids who have disabilities, then we enter them into the process as well, but we give them accommodations and modifications based upon, or that we would give for SPED students, all right? So from there, how do we support those kids once we've identified them? What we do from there, we develop LEP plans, or as the state calls them now, ILAP plans, which is individualized language acquisition plans. And for these particular students, these are accommodations and modifications that the students get in class to help them be successful in the classroom and also to help them learn the lessons that's being taught and to learn the language. Students are then allowed to work in English learning programs that we've purchased, and this is during the acceleration time, and they do this 2 times per week. Okay, and that's on Tuesday and Thursday. Students are also trained with the online training tools, and they work with the ELPT online training tools to practice how to use the test when it's time to take the test. Teachers also do different strategies, use different strategies in the best classroom practices in class to help assess those kids and to help those kids to be successful in learning the language. So furthermore, the EL lead teacher provides individualized instruction and remediation on a daily basis. So Ms. Adele goes to the different schools every day. She works with her kids. She pulls those kids. Usually it's during their intervention times or it's during their PE times and different times throughout the day when they have a break. And she does reviews with those kids. And then again, classroom teachers strategically plan using the best instructional practices to ensure mastery of the Tier 1 curriculum. And most of the Tier 1 curriculum has sections in it that gives you different strategies that you can use to help your EL learners the same way it does with your students who need additional support in the classroom. So the teachers have everything that they need to be successful along with the plan that's created for them. The accommodations that are provided to our EL students are based upon their LEP plan, and for the majority of our EL students, these are the accommodations that they require. And that's cooperative learning and peer assistance, extended time on tests and assignments, and then repeated directions. So with that, how do we then progress monitor those students, and how do we track to see if they are progressing or not? The data points that we use are DIBELS testing, the ELPT test from the previous year, Imagine Language and Learning Program and the reports that come from that program, the ELPT practice test that we're going to offer at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, and then also the LEAP test. So we have several data points that we can review that will tell us where the student stands and how the student is progressing, and then will also show us the skills that the student have not mastered and what prerequisite skills the student needs to master to progress forward and to master the skills for that current year. So the frequency of the review, the test review, is 3 times a year, beginning of the year, middle of the year, and then when we get the results from the actual ELPT, the ELPT is taken in February. We usually get those results around March or April. DIBELS, and then also the online IPT test that we offer. Then the Imagine Learning Language and Learning program that we use, we could pull that document weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly, and we could pull that determined on the needs of the student. So if the student is high needs, if he's like tier 3, tier 2 level, we could pull his data once a week and kind of look at his progress. If the student is more advanced, we could pull his data every 2 weeks or once a month. For some of our students who are right there on the verge of transitioning, we may not have to pull their work but once a month. Usually for those kids, their biggest challenge is the writing of the language. Yes, sir.
And the resources that are provided to the kids with this, are there any at-home resources for the families to get involved with, like to accelerate the learning since they only get the intervention twice a
We
week?
could give them at-home resources, but we would have to purchase that for them.
Okay, so it's not included, like online resources are not included in what we currently have?
No, sir.
Okay, gotcha.
Just the Imagine Learning. Now, they could log into that at home.
Okay.
But the idea for them to do the work at home, which would really be beneficial for the high school students, would be if we got something like Rosetta Stone or a program like that, where it's like their own personal program they could use at any time that they want.
Gotcha.
Now, we could provide something like that for them, but it would take some research on our part to figure out what would be the most effective one to use and also most cost effective.
If y'all feel it would be beneficial, especially because I know it's harder for older kids to learn the second language, easier for younger kids. The data shows that. I'm sure it shows it when y'all assess as well. It's harder for older kids to learn more quickly, especially adults to learn a different language. So if it's something y'all think would help.
Yes, sir.
The only difference is the older kids have the content knowledge,
Yeah.
whereas the younger kids don't. The younger kids pick up the language faster.
Yeah.
But not, I mean, the content comes later. The older kids have the content
Yeah.
already.
But
So
but can't communicate it effectively. Yeah.
I mean, you could give the parent resources, but most of them don't speak English, so that.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, is there a family resource provided that way we could be providing another need or meet another need if it's
We
cost
had-
effective for us to?
Go ahead, sir. Were you? Okay. As a team, we had discussed possibly providing that for them, and that was the idea, possibly purchasing Rosetta Stone. The kid has an account. The child can use the account, but also the parent could use the account. Now, it would be a cost to the district, but since we are building this part of the plan from scratch, or over and, etching this part of the plan in stone, we wanted to start off slow and make sure that this part was successful, and then we could continue to build. So to make sure that we at least got the language and learning piece, we held off on the Rosetta Stone. We wanted to see how effective that's going to be with the new plan, and then if that is effective and we do have the funds to purchase and go forward, then we'll push for the Rosetta Stone. The other side note there, but it's not necessarily the benefit for the parents, but it's the benefit for the students. Most of our high school students are P2 or P3 students, so they're like at the point of transitioning out of the program. So if we were to offer Rosetta Stone for those kids to use at home for their parents, it may not be as beneficial to the child as it would be to the parent. Which you'll see some of that in the data, but that is something that we definitely should look at.
Okay.
Yes.
We could use Title I funds to purchase Rosetta Stone without parental involvement.
Yep.
Okay.
So the next thing that we were working on and that we are using going forward, where we were building data trackers for each individual student. And basically, we were going to use these to be able to track the student scores, and we could pull this up for each child. We have one for each one of our children. Now, we could go this specialized now because we have less than 50 students in the district who are identified as EL. We may have to change that strategy if we were to increase the population to, say, 100 or 150 to 200. I do have a document that we created where you could track that data, but it would not be as specialized as this particular document. So we have this document. We will have this for each one of our EL students, and we'll be able to see what they scored on their IPT test, their DIBELS, their LEAP test, and then their Imagine Learning PACE, and also the ELPT test. We're going to track all that document, all that information on this particular chart for those students. This is an example of how we track the data on a large scale. And so I did now these are live scores from the last year's ELPT. And the kids that are coded in green, as you see, those are kids that are P3 or on the verge of transitioning, or they showed growth. Our kids that are in the yellow are kids that are P2 or showed some form of growth. The ones that are in pink remain the same. And then we only had one that was in red that did not show growth. And I'll give you the exact numbers at the end of the presentation. But this is just for you to have an idea that this is what we do to track the data and to see where those students are and how they're progressing during the system. So the big thing that you guys, we all need to take into account, and you guys really need to know how much this impacts us as a district. Trajectory-based scoring, equal weight for ELs, and then the impact on the school grades, which is the SPS and the district SPS score. So trajectory-based scoring simply means that they set a progress goal or a growth goal that we expect the child to reach for each particular year. If the child reaches that goal, depending upon the level of the goal, we get 100 to 150 points for accountability for that child. That's on the LEAP test, and that's also for the ELPT test. For equal weight for ELs, the same way you get a score for the LEAP test, the ELPT test holds that same level of weight. So our EL students can be a double bonus for us or a double whammy, because we get points for them for what they score on the LEAP test, okay, and all the way through high school, but we also get the same level of points for them based upon what they score on the ELPT. So not only do you have to teach them reading, writing, math, etc., you also have to teach them the language, and we are scored based upon that. So with that being said, that is a huge impact on our overall SPS score for our campus and for our district, because that will account for 8.3% of the school and the district performance scores. So even though we don't have a large number of ELs, they, hold a lot of weight and a lot of importance as far as making sure that they progress, that they hit their growth targets, that they progress to their next level, and that we transition them out of the program. So although people may not have known the work that Miss Adele has been doing all these years, she's really been an unsung hero in that department, because we're getting points for those kids in two areas that a lot of us may not have realized just how important that is, because we don't have large numbers like some of the other districts. This is the accountability scorecard, and just to show you, so you could see You see the ELL acquisition on the percentage of students growing, so that's where they track that and put that information in the accountability scorecard. And then that's also a breakdown of the overall performance for districts and for schools. And just so you could see what I meant when I said 8.3, that's Louisiana's breakdown, and 8.3% of that is going to be what we do with our EL students.
And when I'm looking at the numbers, I see Bioloris down there with 13. That's about, I'd say about 10% of our school population. So
So
we're one of the smaller schools and we have the larger population of ELs.
you do have the largest population. You don't have them as a subgroup just yet.
Right, you have to
You
have
have to have 15.
two more.
two
I'm
more.
wondering, have they
But you're right
screened,
there.
have they screened the kindergartners yet?
You're right there. Assumption High has 10, but we did add some more students this year. So Ms. Dell is totaling up the numbers now to prepare for this year. And we did have a few more students, so we're just under 50, but we're close to 50 at this point. So I think we may have some subgroups once she and I get together and review that data.
Well,
Yes, sir.
when you look at subgroups, even though a school may not get a score if they don't meet the subgroup, but your district will, because it's all students. So we will, as a district, have a score. And we fought this at the state level when this whole accountability system came out, because you have your smallest population being accounted for the same percentage as far as weight as the largest population. So in some districts, it's 90% of the students, their test scores are weighted just as much as 10% of the students. So it's just very difficult and hard for districts to, especially when you're trying to educate students who do not speak English. It's just very, very difficult. I appreciate the interest in it. I appreciate the attention to it, but I think the way that we have to score this is very, very difficult for schools and districts. So I'll just leave it at that.
And double weighted too.
Yep.
You know,
Yes, sir.
They're taking not only the ELPT, they're in every other, your 25% for growth, they're in the math, English, and the ACT, they're in all other components of your SPS and DPS.
Seems like LDOE doesn't listen sometimes, right?
Sir?
Seems like LDOE doesn't listen
This
sometimes,
is,
right?
this is the least of LDOE's issues.
Mr. Love, just a note about the file too. It looks like we have a different version uploaded onto the,
Yeah, yes, sir. I
agenda site.
added
Okay.
some on
Okay,
the
gotcha.
presentation.
Yeah.
I gave you guys a specific one that you
Okay,
could have for you.
gotcha.
So to further echo what Dr. B was just sharing, you look at the student population and the progression here in our district, and it's shocking. So you look at the percentage of total enrollment. At the time that I took this, we had just got the ELPT test in. We were at 2,694 total kids. Out of those kids, 40 of those children were EL students. So that's 1.48% of your population, correct? That's not even 2% of the population. However, they're going to account for 8.3% of our overall district SPS score, district performance score. So that just further proves his argument about, you may or may not have the numbers, but regardless, they are a subgroup in your district that have to be handled with great care and concern to make sure that they are successful. And then for our district, so our student progress, so for the transitioning students, we have 2 students that are transitioning out of the program. We have 11 students who are progression 3, 8 that are at progression 2, and 7 that are at progression 1. And then we have 11 students that are emerging. And for each one of those students that are emerging, they are all new to the program. So we kind of expected that they would struggle a little bit, but for the ones that are in the progression and the transitioning, they have been with us for a few years. And so through the work that has been done through Ms. Adele and then also the teachers, the classroom teachers that are working with these students, they have progressed pretty quickly. So did we have any questions for
I
me?
do. Have any of our teachers been trained in PSYOP? It's Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol. It's the process or the model by which teachers instruct EL students.
So I'm not sure if the state is still using that model. I know with the model that you're talking about, they have not been pushing that in the trainings that we have been doing from the district level. So we have not done a PSYOP training from the district. But I am familiar with what you're talking about because I had to do PSYOP training.
Probably in
when I
Iberville, they
taught.
had a larger population.
No, I had to do it when I taught.
Okay,
When
yeah.
I taught. That was a training that we were required to do, but we did have a larger EL population.
I know, we have a large EL population in St. Mary, and we've used it for years.
Yes, ma'am.
And it really has helped. I'm just wondering, we're talking about everything that the students get, but what are we giving our teachers to help them in the classroom?
Outside of the meetings that we have and the LEP plans that we create, so it gives the teachers the accommodations that can be used for the kids, and then we use best practices. And I did share those accommodations in the PowerPoint.
Right, I'm familiar.
And then here's one other thing that's a benefit that we have now that I guess those who were educators and in the classroom, I haven't been in the classroom in like 12 years, but I remember when I was teaching, we did not have the level of technology that the teachers have. And what I mean by that is that they have their curriculum, but in the curriculum, there are hyperlinks to give them different strategies on how to assess and to how to teach your EL students, your students who may need scaffolds that because they did not master the prerequisite skills for the lesson that they're learning for that current moment, and for your SPED students as well. So if you follow the guidelines in the curriculum that they give you, they almost walk you through step by step and word by word how you can teach those kids and reach those kids and what's the best strategies to use for them. So you still can spend the money to send the teachers to a training or to have a specialist come out and train them. But I do also believe that we have enough talent here in the district where we could train them ourselves. I know with the teaching and learning team, and I've been in a lot of their meetings, when they go through their progressions on the guidebooks and things of that nature, their trainers make them go through each one of those steps. How to address EL students, how to address your special education students, how to address your low-level learners, your tier 2, your tier 3 kids. So, I mean, that's just my thoughts,
Okay.
but I do agree with you about the PSYOP training was a good program.
Right, and I mean, I've done EL my whole career. Me and Miss Adele go back to my first year teaching, and we've been to a lot of conferences together. I applaud her for all the work she's done, because I know she's worked very hard. I know how hard I work with the EL students. And I just want to make sure they're getting everything and the teachers are getting everything that they need.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Because our population ain't going nowhere. It's here to stay.
Done. Okay.
Ms. Rachel's not here, so I'm gonna,
Okay.
hopefully I can get this right. If not, I'm gonna give it to Ms. Kathy. For the next item, what's the next item on it?
Okay. D, receive report on Assumption Parish School District's recognition by the LDOE for a top 10th growth in literacy.
Thank you, Madam President. I am super excited to present this information to you all today. Myself and Mr. Honoré, we attended a recognition on behalf of all of our teachers and all of our students at the State Department. But I wanted to give you some information as it relates to our literacy progress. Assumption Parish is rated in the top 10. We are number 6 in the state in growth in our DIBELS assessment. That's literacy. That's the initiative that the State Department is using, reading literacy. And the DIBELS test is with the tool that they're using to measure that. So we're number 6 in the state in moving kids. So in addition to all of the other Mastery Plus growth in 3 through 8, 3 through 12, I think it's an outstanding accomplishment on behalf of all of the teachers and students that we're now rated number 6 in growth in literacy.
And that's our K-3 teachers.
Yes, yes.
Plug that in.
Again, Miss Rachel, she would love to be here. She's kind of under the weather a bit. So she definitely would say, hey, make sure you present and do it well. And she put this together. So this is her work, you can tell. But at the state level, we try to have coherence. So we want to always align our district goals with the state goals, and then our school goals with the district goals. So we can have that coherence. Literacy, obviously, you can see science of reading. Most of our teachers, if not all, except for probably our new teachers, are trained in the science of reading. That's a big initiative at the state level of helping our teachers develop the skills they need so they could teach reading and our students could be successful. And then the second initiative here that this is aligned to is effective teacher for every student. Also, this is the literacy pillars, which is basically at the state level literacy goals. I think this was created back in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. And we just had a presentation at the state level with Dr. Chasson, who is the assistant superintendent over teaching and learning at the state level. This is her framework. Explicit literacy, ongoing professional development, and then obviously meeting our families where they are. Assumption Parish literacy initiatives. I'm not going to read over all of these, but basically we have our literacy goals, our plans. We have our screener that we use 3 times a year, implementation of our high quality instructional materials, and also we have a tiered support. All teachers are trained, all teachers are trained in the science of reading, and then we also have individual academic plans for those kids who need it. And this is a big topic. I think Mr. Honoré heard this, high dosage tutoring. The State Department allocated, I think, $30 million to all school districts. So we do use those funds for high dosage tutoring for our students. What does tiered support look like? So when you think of the different tiers, tier 1 is what our kids are getting in the classroom on a daily basis. So you want about 80 to 85% of your kids getting that material. And I'll say this, and I always said this even when I was a principal, assistant principal, if we could teach quality instruction during tier 1, we won't need as many kids and as much instruction in tier 2 and tier 3. Because if you could have a strong core instruction, then that means your kids are being successful in core versus having to teach them and remediate them in tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 2 is more of a small group, so maybe if a lesson was taught and a small percentage, meaning where 10 to 15% of the kids didn't get it, so that teacher would probably have a pull-out group. And then your tier 3 is more individualized, intense support. So if you don't get it in core, if you don't get it in tier 2, then those kids fall in tier 3, and those are your special, maybe 4 to 5 students in a group, and they'll pull out during probably like a PE time or an extended day or something like that. Tier 1, I'm not going to go over everything. I just kind of basically explained it, but we do have high quality material being taught in those used and curriculums being taught in the classroom. We have a 90-minute block. We do use state-approved curricula in our building, all of our teachers, and we prioritize this year with our lesson plan internalization. And I'll say this as it relates to assessments. I know we like to say, okay, how many kids answered this question correctly? But just as important, it's not about how many kids answered the question right or wrong. It's about how they responded to the question. Because a wrong answer could give me just as much information as a right answer, because I need to know the thinking behind the response. So when I always used to tell my teachers, I said, it's great to know whether or not a kid got a question right or wrong, but what is more important is how did they respond to the question? Because sometimes you will find in a wrong answer, a kid may have missed a minus sign, or a kid may not understand a certain formula. But if you just say, okay, it's wrong, you're not really looking at and assessing the problem. So that is what you're seeing in our lesson plan internalization. How can we get to the root cause? First of all, how can we teach to the level? And then how can we get to the root cause of the issues our students are having? Your tier 2, it's like a 20-minute, 20 minutes to 40 minutes per week, small groups. We try to keep those groups very, very small because we want to make sure that we pay special attention to those kids and address those gaps. Your tier 3, we have additional programming. So a lot of the contracts that you allow us to have, you allocate those funds for, you approve our budget. We have, that's going right back into the school. So Book Nook, Air Reading, SIPs, and things like that, those are programs that we use to help those tier 3 students, but it's all allocated through the funds that you all allocate for us. What's the impact? So when we look at the results, district-wide, we look at beginning of the year, BOY, end of the year, and then we look at the increase. So you should see a decrease from beginning of the year to end of the year. So these are the students who are not reading on grade level, who did not pass, who took our test. So you could see that the beginning of the year, we had district-wide, 47% of our students were not achieving, right? They were not successful on our DIBELS test. And at the end of the year, we had only 22%. So you see a 25% increase. So first results, 36 to 22. Second results, 41 to 22. So the number's getting better. And then your third results, 33, 28. Saying that right? Which obviously resulted in rated number 6 in top growth across the state. So with that being said, we were recognized at the state level. Myself and Mr. Honoré represented the school board. We went to Bessie. They had a special recognition day. So Assumption Parish was mentioned, and with some of the top districts across the state of Louisiana. So kudos to all of our principals, our teachers, our students, our families, because they worked extremely hard to make this happen. And I know that we have been receiving a lot, but this shows that students are better readers. At the close of the day, what does that mean? It means that our students are better readers as a result of this work. And the DIBELS test is showing it. So at this time, I'll open the floor up for comments. Mr. Honoré, if you have anything you want to share, because you did attend that meeting.
Yes, it was a very intriguing meeting, kind of like what I'd anticipated. You know, I saw my cousin over there from Ascension Parish, Miss Johnson over there, Dr. Johnson.
Yep.
And of course, they asked us to stand after Ascension went up, you know, so I was kind of pleased to see that, you know. But again, just like you said, Doc, it wasn't about me or you, it was about all the educators in Assumption Parish schools and what they did to make this a good day, a good week and stuff like that. And it also is a reflection of the achievement of our students, just like you said, and how they've moved forward and from the beginning of the school year toward the end there. And the high dosage tutoring, they talked a lot about that over at the meeting over at LDOE and Bessie, and I was kind of pleased to see that. You know, I went to one of the schools and I watched the high dosage tutoring of that one of the Bell Road schools, and it was very, very good. It was nice, intriguing. And I think that the students over there, they really enjoyed it. It was pretty good. But I wish more of my board members could attend. I know some of you had to work, you know, and stuff like that. So it's good. But it was nice to see. It really was pretty good. So thank you, Doc. I was glad to be there.
I see that this is absolutely wonderful to see a positive increase in each one of our school systems. That speaks volumes for the students, speaks volumes for the staff, the people implementing the program. I have to definitely look at this and go, does anybody else see that there was a 50% positive increase in Pierrepont Elementary? That's beautiful. Any percent increase is amazing, 5%, 1%, but 56%, wow. That's beautiful. Wonderful testament.
No doubt about it. Yep.
I can send you the one we took. That's not a problem, yeah. But this goes to the schools, 100%. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, moving on. 5, policy and procedure. We don't have anything listed under there, so we'll move on to number 6, budget. A, approve Leader in Me agreement by and between Franklin Covey Client Sales Incorporated and Assumption Parish Schools. I need a motion.
So move.
A second.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Abear.
So this is what we're paying this year?
Yes, it's a 3-year commitment, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 40,000 this year, and I think we have a grant or a reduced rate for 45, so I think we're paying a little bit less than the funding that we're receiving for it. The answer is yes. It's a 3-year commitment. We started last year. We are in year 2.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, B, approve professional services contract quote from Knoll Consulting LLC. I need a motion.
Is this something that we can do in-house? Is this, or are we doing in-house currently?
Currently, right now, we have, well, it's not anymore, but the last few years, we had a contract with a company called D2I, which was about $66,000 to do this work with us. This particular firm has the updated version of that. So now this firm has the tracking tool that's aligned to the new accountability system. This firm will also come in and help our administrators and our staff learn more about how to be effective in the new accountability system. So the reason why we are recommending this firm is obviously it's cheaper for number one, and then I think it's 30-some thousand, if I'm not mistaken. I think we were spending like 66 previously. And also, they are aligned to the new accountability system. So it's almost like twofold. It's helping us track, but also they're helping us develop our skills in understanding and learning the new accountability system.
I need a motion.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Washington. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. C, approve contract quote from Imagine Ingenuity. I need a motion
So move.
by Mr. Aber, second by Ms. Boutin. Discussion?
Yeah, I just want to just make sure, this is renewal, everyone, this is just a
correct, it's a
renewal. This is for your credit recovery, so all of our high school kids who fall behind, who may need to take a credit recovery course. This is also for all of our online learners. Also, Mr. Love spoke of our EL students. Our EL students would benefit from this as well. I just wanted to make sure that we all know exactly where the money is going.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. D, approve contracted business services from Falk and Winkler LLC. I need a motion by Ms. Orso. Second by Ms. Dugas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 7, facilities and grounds. A, authorize superintendent to enter into a task order for grounding of Assumption High School Weldon Building. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Barris,
Second.
second by Ms. Dugas. Discussion?
No, I think this is, we heard it last meeting that this is needed. The problem is previously when we had our building built, we've added so many stalls and, we need to do this right because it is becoming a hazard. So we just need to make sure to get this.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. B, receive update on current projects from CJ Savoy Consulting Engineers. Mr. Joseph. Good evening, sir.
Well, I'll start with the Assumption High Building A wall exterior. You all have a brief report in front of you. More or less, we did a walkthrough last week of the building. It is reaching the point where it would be occupiable or considered for a partial substantial completion. At this time, though, we're going to be requesting a meeting with administration and the contractor so we can sit down with them and iron out what that partial substantial completion would look like compared to a full substantial completion. I have sent a request to the contractor right now of all of a time frame for completing all of the outstanding items on the exterior, which includes the sign that you see being built out front, the LED sign that's included in the plans. He does have on site. It is being stored right now, waiting to be installed once he completes that structure. He does have the signage, the logo signs that you all saw in the thing. Those are all on site. They have yet to be installed. So I've asked him for some hard dates and times on completion of that, because we may actually be looking at a full substantial completion and closing the project out, which is the ultimate goal of what we're looking for here. There is the outstanding item of the canopy. We do want to sit down and discuss with that contractor, because he is under a contractual obligation to do as he bid and contracted. He has presented us with several change order request as far as whether we want to move forward with upgrading to aluminum or not. That price, again, has come down since the previous suggestion. So I think the best thing in path in moving us forward is for us to sit down with administration, with the contractor, and iron out exactly what it's going to take him to finish this job. Get a hard date on that. Compare that to the time frame that he has left in the contract, which right now I'm awaiting for the calculated rain days to finish for October, but his projected end date of contract would be the end of this month, somewhere around August 31st, the beginning of September, somewhere in there. The reason that date is floating at the moment is I don't have all of his requested rain days for August. I have what we documented, but once August is finished and once that contract time is done, we can then put those rain days in there, and then that will be his hard contract time that we have to sit down and negotiate with him. So that's where we are with the project. Not speaking negatively, it is moving forward. We are coming to a close, but we have to iron out the finals, and we want it right before the kids put in there. So if it is more advantageous for us to wait another week and get the building to a full substantial completion where you take over completely and it's done, then that's going to be the best path, and that's what we'll recommend. If it's some sort of hybrid of a partial substantial completion, after that meeting, we'll have that ironed out and we'll have a path forward for closing the project out.
Mr. Joseph, for me, I always say, in if we do a substantial completion, partial, I just don't want contractors. I don't think it's a good idea to have contractors in our building with our children.
Correct.
So I prefer and I recommend that, before we have any partial or any substantial completion, that all the work is complete wherever our children are going to be. Because we don't want contractors going in and out of rooms. We don't want contractors going in the restroom and our kids. So we just want to make sure that they're completely away from that area and they do not have any more, I don't want a punch list item or anything doing that area. So just keep that in mind when we're discussing the substantial or partial. If you don't mind.
Completely understood, and we are on the same page, and that's why we're requesting the meeting. We do have a request from the contractor for the partial substantial completion, so we have to address that. And I think the best way to do that is to have this meeting, and then we're going to do what's in the best interest of the kids and the school board. And of course, you all are the owners. It's your decision.
I have a question about a bullet on item 1. The issue of the drainage. I don't believe we had any drainage issues that were pre-existing from the rutting and machine work.
There were some. I do have we have some photographs and things that we took of the courtyards and the surrounding areas prior to construction, and then we have post. There have always been some drainage issues in the interior courtyard because there are two outlets, and both of those outlets that go out of that interior courtyard go under the building, Building A extension. Dwayne, or I know maintenance, actually recently blew out and cleaned out both those culverts, which greatly helped. So there are some things that could be done, should be done, need to be done, but right now, the contractor, as it is required to restore it as it was pre-existing to the construction. So that's what we're holding him to.
Okay.
The recommendations or the verbiage that you're reading there as far as that, we did meet with him to see, hey, look, while you're here, can we improve this? Is there something we can do better? We're not moving forward with any improvements or any additional cost to you or the board without bringing you that. We just simply said, look, while we're here, let's see if there is something we can do to improve or make the drainage in that area better, because there are some issues. And there's different ways to address that. We're just looking at our options at this moment. As far as the courtyard on the south side, right now, I went there recently, it is still quite rutted up. It does appear that, most of the rutting is where it's holding water. I addressed that with him today. He needs to get a crew in there and get that graded and sloped. He will, as I spoke with the superintendent. He needs to flush out the culvert for any mud that got put in there from the construction. That culvert was, just so you're aware, when we went back and looked at our pre-existing photos, that culvert was nearly 100% blocked. Now, maintenance did go and blow it out, and of course, the drainage started to flow. We are looking at what we can do as far as an improvement there to help it get out quicker. Whether that's necessary or not, we'll bring that to you as an option. But right now, the contractor's required that he's got to put it back like he found it.
Can you add that into the summary language, just so because it looks here like it's being
Oh,
recommended? You could just add that in the summary?
Absolutely. We are looking, as with anything, anytime he's going to bring equipment on site or anything to do, it's more cost effective. If you all wanted to make an improvement, it's more cost effective to do that while he's there. That's the only reason we're looking at those particular options. Next project, Assumption High painting and repairs. As you can see, he's nearing the finish. I actually received an email from the contractor recently. Over the next couple of weeks, he's going to be putting his final touch-up coats and installing the logos and signage. So our hope there is to be at a substantial completion by your next meeting. I don't want to overstep there. There is one issue that we do have outstanding, and that was the teachers' lounges. That's the only two buildings left that haven't been painted yet, because there was discussion of possibly removing those buildings altogether because of their condition, and doing something else in that area with the money that he had budgeted. So we're in discussions with him right now about that. It seems that he may be able to do the proposed plan that administration was possibly looking at, is of setting up a canopy or a viewing stand for the tennis courts or something in that area. So we're trying to see if we can do that under the allotted money that's already there. If that's possible, we'll be coming to you with that, if that's the wishes of the administration. If not, then we go back to the original scope of getting those buildings painted, and we'll be out of there. But that project is progressing well. Next, Assumption High canopy replacement on the rear. Just a quick summary on that. The asbestos and all has been removed. We had to have recently, contractor had left the dumpster on site. We got that taken care of. So now we're looking at whatever, we're going to in discussion with the administration as to what they want the new canopy to look like moving forward. It may be something that may be an expansive project. It may be reduced, but right now that project is on hold while it's under review.
I think it's important to note here that this may be part of a bigger project, because we don't know what's going to happen with the canopy that we don't currently have being constructed in the front of the building. I think it's fair to say
Correct.
that this may be a part of that bigger project.
And if it
And
does
I don't
that-
know what happens. I don't know what's
Correct,
going to happen. We
correct.
have to get with legal and figure out, but I just want to let everybody know it may be part of a bigger canopy project, because after speaking with legal, it's like, look, why piece this together, get one canopy company to come in and do the entire place, wherever the canopies
the
are
entire
needed,
scope.
versus going to sending out for bid for this part of it, this part and that part. So just Just, I think
And that's all we're saying is in the discussion. I do want to point out that I failed to mention it in the report, and I'll add it, that maintenance did put in some temporary covering. So there is a canopy there. I don't want you to think that, you know, we got school going on, rain going. They did install a temporary canopy. We had left, once we removed the asbestos, we actually left the old steel structure in place until a decision could be made. So they simply just came back and put a temporary covering over that, and it is sufficient for now. And lastly, Assumption
Joseph.
High Welding and
I'm
Shop.
sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
Did you go over the exterior door renovations?
Oh, Lord.
Number
I
3?
apologize, I accidentally.
No, that's okay.
I skipped it. With the exterior door renovations, that project is progressing. However, contractor has had some difficulty. As you know, we're removing door frames, we're removing things. When we get in there, we're finding a lot of unknowns. One of those, actually, 2 of them are on tonight's agenda further down for a change order. One is at the athletic field house. It was previously reported, you know, we discovered some termite damage. The administration came in, they did treat the termites, that's been taken care of. We got a cost from the contractor to make the necessary structural repairs so that we could get those doors installed. The second part of that change order was there's a door that once we removed the actual door and hinges, the metal framing behind it had deteriorated beyond repair. They came and actually, so we had to, the last change order replaced that door. Well, as it comes out, that particular door, if you know how these buildings are constructed, it's all steel framing and it's all one frame unit. So that means all the side lights, everything is all one solid frame unit. So we did price putting in a custom door frame with the side light units. And then we also priced just putting in a standard door frame unit and then having them frame in those side lights. And the result of that is the lower cost, which is the change order we're recommending. To get a custom frame with those side lights especially made to that size was a pretty exorbitant cost. In addition to that, the lead times that we're seeing on metal, steel, doors, window deliveries has been quite extensive. So also on that change order, they are requesting a time extension. I realize it sounds excessive when we say 90 days, but I want you to know that the delivery time, and I got this direct from the suppliers, and I checked multiple suppliers, and they all told me 8 to 12 weeks just to get the material. So that eats up 60 days of that contract time extension, and that leaves him 30 days to work with us around school times and so forth to get it in. And so that's where I felt like the 90 days was justified. They originally asked for 120. After speaking with suppliers and the contractor, we settled on the 90, and so that is what we're recommending. And then lastly, well, I have 2 left, is the welding shop. As you all know, you move forward with that, so there's really nothing further to report. Belrose Primary Signal Point entry, right now is on hold until administration is able to make some determinations, and then we'll move forward as you all see fit.
One quick thing, the LED light, and this was a question that was asked to me. We have hopefully I'm saying this, our crepe myrtles out in front of the school. And then we have the LED light or the LED sign that's gonna be almost like in the middle. Are we gonna trim those trees back, or will a sign go above the trees? Do you have any idea?
Originally, when we met with maintenance, it was talked about them either removing just 2 of the crepe myrtles to accent the sign. So we're gonna have to get we'd have to get a cost. I can get a cost from the contractor. It may be more advantageous for maintenance just to remove them. We did talk about the contractor would trim them back. I don't know if that's gonna be enough, because those crepe myrtles, as you said, they're right on there. And it is I realize you can't see it yet, but it is a very nice-looking sign. It is also double-sided LED. It's wireless. The school board, the school will be able to advertise events in both directions on the highway. In addition to that, the school name and logo is also lit on the bottom.
Yeah, it's a
So
beautiful sign.
it's going to be a nice-looking feature for the
Yep,
school.
I agree.
And that's all we have for tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you.
C, review and approve change order number 2 for the project known as Assumption High School exterior door renovations.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Boutin. And
I just want to make a comment.
We just went over with the termites and the reframing of that
Yeah,
door, right?
no, oh, just on the dates, because I think on the contract that we received, it says 120, and I know you just mentioned 90.
90 days.
So I just
Yes,
want to make sure that we
discussed-
correct that.
It is 90, it is 90. We discussed that with the contractor. We felt 120 was kind of pushing it a little far.
agreed.
Thank you.
That's an expensive door.
Well, I'll tell you, nothing in construction is cheap.
Joseph, the contractor is, correct me if I'm wrong, so August the 14th was the deadline that the contractor was supposed to complete this job. Today is August the 20th. So we're extending this project 90 days. Is it 90 days from today, or is it 90 days from the 14th because we've already passed those days?
Well, it would be 90 days from the 14th.
Okay.
So, and we took that into account when we started calculating things.
Okay.
If we run into an issue towards the end, if there's a delivery, right now, we're going on those 8 to 12-week delivery times. And look, I contacted several suppliers myself. They're all telling us the same thing. I did recently on another project, we had a steel supplier, told us the same dates, and everything was delivered within 3 weeks. So if that happens, if it comes in earlier, the contractors are ready. They're not looking to extend this. They are looking to do the work and get out. Their problem is they can't get the materials because all of this, these doors, they're custom orders. They're custom orders, custom frames. Even the standard doors and frames are everything has got a cushion on it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I just wanted to make sure we get the dates right, because I know
Yes, sir.
the contract.
No, it goes
yeah, we're good.
from that date. The door contractor on the exterior doors, he is allowed also some rain days on the days that he was working on those exterior things. So we took all of that into account. So that's why you're kind of seeing that 90-day extension. I realize it does sound like quite a bit.
Mr. Joseph, the termite damage repair part, that's steel as well? For the termite damage on the field house one, is that special ordered as well?
No, they're going to do that immediately.
Okay,
That's actually,
curious.
that's, the existing stuff is timber. They're
Okay.
going back with treated timber, and the school board, of course, administration actually treated the building. So the termites have been eradicated. We're going back with treated wood, and we're going to have it looking back the way it was.
Perfect, so he'll just go and do that job?
No, he's
and
going to do
then
that
he won't wait on
immediately,
it.
and actually, that door was already on the original order, so that door is going to go in immediately.
Okay.
The extension is for the doors that we had to add where the framing was rotted out and they
Yes,
had to be
sir.
ordered.
Yes, sir. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
So we need a motion. We got a motion by Ms. Lewis, Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Boutin. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. D, authorize the superintendent to advertise for bids for the project known as the Labadie Middle School Sewer Plant Replacement.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Barrett and second by Mr. Abear.
This is, we're moving forward. Remember, we said that we were going to make sure that we moved Labadie Elementary School to the Labadie Middle School site. So we're starting to move forward with that work now so we could be prepared for those kids in the fall of next year.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 8, comments and/or announcements from board members or administration.
I'm wondering about Bayou Lures because they still don't have electricity to that building. They still waiting on a ramp. They haven't been there in 2 days.
And Andrew, that's at the two building, the two new buildings that just got
The
on
new
site?
building.
I've had several conversations, and we're getting that permits were not processed, or the permit process took longer than people originally thought. Because you're dealing with South Central Planning, you're dealing with the engineer, you're dealing with the parish. And it really set back a couple of days that one thought the permit was done, another thought that the other person didn't permit it. So that is the problem that we ran into. As far as the ramps, the contractor that's doing the ramps he actually installed a ramp that was incorrect. So he had to tear it down, and now he's putting it back up. So those two things has caused us basically a headache and it's towards the end of the project. So, but the permits are ready, and the contractor within the next couple of days should have that ramp completed. So we're expecting to come back September 3rd for a substantial completion, if not full completion of the job.
Okay.
That's what I received today.
And do we have any potential teachers?
Yes, Ms. Brandy sent, I want to say today I spoke to her. She says she sent 3 candidates to the principal to interview. I don't know what happened after that just yet. I'll know more about that over the next couple of days. Yep. No, remember the Pierpont project we had on, that contractor had until the end of October, I think. It's still underway. We did have to send a contractor to the site because we saw something that they needed to address. So our office called an engineer back to the school, and they are addressing the concern that we had, but they're still under contract. They're still within that window.
Nothing else? Okay. I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Ms. Dugas, second by